Okay, we have chapter 17 and just three little interactions I want to point out in this chapter. We have Sonia's upset about Nikolai for three reasons. First of all, she's upset for him interacting with Julie and feeling jealous. But also Nikolai's going to go away and join the army soon. But thirdly, and the main trigger, is Vera. Vera happens to stumble across some of the poems and letters Nikolai had wrote to Sonia. And she approaches Sonia and kind of cruelly tells her, you know, this thing you got going on with the Nikolai, it's never going to happen. Nikolai's going to marry Vera, and it sort of echoes this, and she says this explicitly for the first time, that Nikolai, there's some current of him, of Julie being a good match for Nikolai, and Vera says it explicitly, and you wonder if there's sort of this unconscious pressure. And so Sonia very much feels this external pressure that perhaps her relationship with Nikolai is not good for his future. And so Natasha's looking for Sonia, and she finally finds her and tries to console her, and they kind of confide in each other. And for quite a while Sonia's inconsolable, but Natasha reaffirms her, you know, it's all going to be okay. Remember what we said, and don't worry about it. And eventually she comes around, she feels consoled and happy again, and Natasha says, okay, let's go back and join the party. But here's the first time where explicitly someone says, you know, Nikolai's going to marry Julie, and there's this theme of maybe Sonia's love for Nikolai isn't good for his future in terms of at least the external pressures. And so we head back to the party, and we see Natasha. Natasha comes up to Pierre and she says, Mama said to invite you to come join the dancing. And, you know, we can imagine Pierre kind of awkwardly not knowing what to do, but, you know, Countess Rostova, you know, maybe has a warm spot in her heart for Pierre, and it's kind of like, you know, get him to kind of join the fun. Maybe there's something in the background we know, or she knows, that she's just either being welcoming of Pierre or knowing how he just needs a little encouragement to join festivities. And so he does so. He's kind of like offers her, you know, I don't know if I'll be able to be a very good dancer. He's saying to Natasha, you know, if you teach me, I can follow you. And he gives her his arm very gallantly, and Natasha's just beaming. She's like, remember, there's an age difference between them. Maybe Pierre is about 20, Natasha's about 13, and she's just beaming. Here's this sort of an exotic person who was educated abroad and's come in, and a real adult, and she's dancing with him, and she is just having a blast. And so there's kind of a fun interaction with them there. And then the end of the chapter ends with the Count Rostova and Maria, this very stout, stern kind of lady, coming in, and they join the dancing. And everybody loves it. You know, it's this, turn things on its head. You have this woman with this reputation of being stern and just plain spoken, maybe is the correct word, blunt. And she joins in. So the Count and this Maria lady dance together, and the Count, he's actually a really good dancer, and he's building up a lot of perspiration. And not to be outdone, the Maria You know, she's a heavier set woman, as described, but she is unabashed, unashamed, self-confident in what she can't keep up with in the movements. You know, she nods her head and moves her elbows and is very much into it as well. And the whole group is quite taken up by this. Morning. And so this is a sort of a behind the scenes chapter, hearing a little bit more about the context of Sonia and Nikolai and just the fun of the party ongoing, and just seeing some interactions sort of for the first time, such as with Natasha directly speaking with Pierre.